COVID-19 has killed more than 35,000 people in Brazil, and Brazil is now recording the highest daily number of deaths in the world. Brazil. Brazil has, or I should say the pandemic, has also caused a lot of political polarization in that country and dominated headlines and policy debates in recent months. And that leaves no room to discuss the increased damage to the rainforest. When people are trying to survive or trying to figure out ways to avoid infection and death, it stands to reason, doesn't it? The common folk, like, say, me, would not want to discuss deforestation in the Amazon. They would rather discuss adequate and available health care. But that's not what is going on in Brazil. The health care there is not adequate. It's not available to everybody. And it is being used, the pandemic is being used to divert everyone's attention away from what is happening in Amazonia. They have an environmental minister there named Ricardo Salles. And he supports Bolsonaro's destruction of environmental regulations. Does this sound familiar? Anyway, this prick said in late April that, and he was quoted in saying this, I'll share it with you in just a second, that he saw the pandemic as an opportunity to reduce restrictions while the attention was focused elsewhere. Reduce restrictions on the destruction of the lungs of the earth. Huh? Trump and Bolsonaro, these people are demons that have been puked up out of the deepest, hottest rings of hell. Unbelievable, these people. Why are they allowed to continue to do this? Anyway, during a April 22nd cabinet meeting in Brazil, and a video of this meeting was made public, the environmental minister said, quote, "We need to make an effort here during this period of calm in terms of press coverage because people are only talking about COVID," end quote. Make an effort to gut and destroy environmental regulations so that the death of the Amazon can continue apace. God damn, these people are awful. Now, those remarks later, Mr. Salles said, referred to his efforts to streamline red tape and had nothing to do with what it really sounded like. What are you going to believe, your lying eyes and ears or me? Huh? And anyway, that led federal prosecutors to call for an investigation in what they said amounted to dereliction of duty. See, that is still available in Brazil. We don't have that anymore. We used to have that. We used to be able to police whatever pigs got loose in the U.S. government. We can't anymore. I shouldn't call them pigs. Pigs are decent. The rats. I don't like rats. We used to have ample agencies to, not that they always were successful, but ample agencies were available to keep track of and stop the rats who were gnawing their way through the U.S. government. Brazil still has a few. We don't anymore. Trump is a rat. Trump is the biggest fucking rat imaginable. He's king rat. And the rats underneath him are just running rampant. But in Brazil, not quite there yet, although Bolsonaro is working towards getting there, and Trump continues to applaud Bolsonaro's efforts. So federal prosecutors said they wanted an investigation. Whether they got it or not, I don't know, into the so-called environmental minister, Ricardo Salles. And the association, read union, that represents government environmental workers, issued a statement after this prick made that statement, calling Mr. Salles a criminal, that's their word, criminal, who has been, quote, hollowing out his own ministry. Kind of like the yellow ape or the orange ape. I don't know if he's yellow or orange anymore. Kind of like what the orange ape has done to the Justice Department in this country, hollowed it out. The Environmental Agency hollowed it out. Public Health hollowed it out. Government Broadcasting hollowed it out. The Treasury Department hollowed it out. I mean, it just goes on and on. On and on. Brazil is still behind the United States, but it's getting there. Anyway, enforcement actions by Brazil's main environmental protection agency, it's called this is a mouthful, the Brazilian Environmental and Renewable Natural Resources Institute. And it goes by the acronym IBAMA. Not Obama, but IBAMA. Or IBAMA, I guess. Anyway, enforcement actions by IBAMA fell during 2019, of course. That was the Brazilian king rat, Bolsonaro's first year in office. And that's according to a document, an internal document of IBAMA, obtained by the New York Times. Times doesn't say how they got it, but they got it. Here's a little bit from that report. In 2019, IBAMA reported 128 instances of environmental crimes, which was a 55% increase from the year before. The amount of illegally logged timber seized by that agency fell by nearly 64% from 2018 to 2019, according to the document, which means one thing. It does not mean that illegal logging had decreased. It means one thing only, that the Brazilian Environmental Renewable Natural Resources Institute, or IBAMA, turned the other way and let it go and said, never mind. And then the Times reports that government officials and environmental activists say the rise in the destruction of the rainforests in Brazil, is being driven by a sense among illegal loggers and miners that tearing down the rainforest carries no risk of punishment, but it does provide them with hellacious payoffs. And don't you know that among those payoffs, Bolsonaro is getting his little bit of the vigorish. A dictator always gets a piece of the action when he turns the other way and allows the political rapists to go to work. So Bolsonaro is getting rich by hundreds of millions of dollars. The loggers and miners and destroyers are getting rich by God knows how much, because they understand that there's no penalty. Bolsonaro, the government, nothing. We can continue to rip and burn and dig and blow up and log chain out and cut down and destroy. And nobody is going to do anything because we live under a fascist dictator like Trump. He's a great role model, this Trump. Huh? Hey, Truth Seekers, while we're practicing safe social distancing, it's a great time to treat yourself with some seriously delicious, responsibly sourced coffee. Awaken to pleasure with River Moon Coffee. But don't take my word for it. Here are two recent reviews. Quote, "We sell River Moon Coffee at Marine General Store, and I can't seem to keep up with customer demand. Not only is the coffee excellent, but the philosophy behind it, the careful sourcing and constant research to bring a quality product to customers, appeals to the hearts of our community." End quote. And here's one from a fellow Malloy listener. Quote, "I love this coffee. I buy it in 5-pound bags. I especially love the Truth Seeker blend." End quote. Sounds like they're planning ahead for the apocalypse. Anyway, support a progressive small business that supports this program. Go to MikeMalloy.com and click on the River Moon Coffee link on the main page. You'll thank me later.